So the topic given to me is that contemporary TKR implants and its relevance to the patient. So it is nothing to do with how it is implanted, and it's essentially only about the implant. So what I would thought is I would possibly just take an overview of what we have here right now. So, bottom line is, how do you decide what implant to use? I mean, is it the surgeon who decides? Is it the patient that who decides? And or what is the situation right now? Or is it the patient who comes demanding, looking at Dr. Google or media or editorials or whatever publicity material is out there? Social media possibly can play a huge role. If it comes to patient, some patients do come asking for a certain implant, and that is because either they have read it somewhere on social media or heard from their friend, word of mouth, and essentially they should be only worried about one thing, that is the outcome and the longevity and the function that they're going to get. But these are the factors that are not on patient's mind. Is basically the other factors that any patient who comes asking for a certain implant, he has his or her reasons for it. So that has nothing to do with how good or bad that implant is. So what are the options that are available to us today? If you just consider simple classifications, all poly versus metal back, fixed bearing versus mobile bearing. We have had all these debates over last 10, 15, 20 years. Cruciate retaining, sacrificing, whether it's the new baby on the market, it's ultra congruent or medial pivot, and the newer implant options, femoral side or even tibial side. So these are all considerations for choosing an implant. So from the surgeon's perspective, it should essentially it's essential that the result should be reliable, reproducible, and durable in his or her hands. And any new concept or design, especially any new design that is introduced in the market, ought to allow near normal kinematics. We cannot get a normal kinematics, whatever said and done. Totally replacement is compromised at the end of the day. Obviously, should reduce the polywear, reduce osteolysis, and improve the long-term results. So let's look at the first debate. That was all poly versus metal back tibia. If you look through history, it was total condyle introduced in way back in 1974. Then came the posterior stabilized insole bursin and insole bursins 2, which was the first time introduced as a metal back tibial component. It had modularity, and it had limited interchangeability and varying constraints that are there. Backside wear was emerged as a concept later on, and essentially all poly eliminated backside wear. So there was more poly thicknesses, more poly to wear, and advantage of modularity was missing. So verdict was, verdict essentially even today is that all poly is still as good as, if not better than, metal back. There are several reports in the literature, but as a surgeons, we have got so spoiled with the modularity that, we don't even consider all poly as an option today. That is unfortunate, but all poly certainly is a good prosthesis. Second thing is fixed bearing versus rotating platform. Now, are fixed bearing modular designs a failed concept? And that is, what was the premise when it was first introduced as a rotating platform as a concept. So problem with fixed bearing was said that it was osteolysis with the older designs, and undersurface wear was issue. But these issues were addressed with better locking mechanisms and better poly quality. So contention was that mobile bearing would give better wear characteristics over long term, might improve patellar tracking because it will just self-adjust, and it should decrease the lateral release rates as a result of better patellar tracking and improve flexion. Dislocation was a concern, but that again I think is not much. So verdict on that is that both fixed bearing and rotating platform designs are equally successful. There is nothing that you can choose one over the other. And I think fixed bearing designs essentially have universal applications, whereas mobile bearing may not. Third question is, what about CR versus PS versus the new babies on the market, ultra congruent or a medial pivot knee? And this is what we are talking about. Now, basic concept is that of femoral rollback, and that essentially happens when you retain the posterior cruciate ligament and the point of contact shifts backwards as the knee flexes. And that is essentially the 4-bar linkage. We are taking away the anterior cruciate ligament anyway, so the knee is never going to be normal, kinematically. And registry data have showed slightly better outcomes with cruciate retaining knee, and similar thing. I'll just run through this because it's already late in the day. So PCL resection, if you're doing, you will have to use either posterior stabilized or use medial congruent or ultra congruent. Ultra congruent essentially has more anterior and posterior lips and a more congruent, more congruency on in the medial compartment. It is anterior stabilized as well because of the anterior higher lip. And there are many, reports that are suggesting that ultra-congruent as a concept is a well-established one today. The new baby on the market is medial pivot knee. There are several companies that have, including Zimmer, has medial pivot knee available. I understand Depu is also coming out with a medial congruent poly. I was just told that it is coming out. So essentially, medial pivot is almost a ball and socket joint in the medial compartment, and that gives all the stability that you have. That obviously is going to take over the function of ACL and PCL. The lateral side is not so congruent, although it is much better congruent than other concepts. So as a concept, medial pivot is a well-established concept today, and I think it does give. I've been using a few medial pivot knees, and they have given good results as it stands today. So if you are talking about PCL sacrificing total knee, PS does have universal application. It eliminates the risk of tight PCL and less conforming insert, and possibly in most revision scenarios, and it's probably must in severe deformities and revision TKR. So potentially has to decrease. Potential is there to decrease the polywear as well. So to chop the PCL or not is the choice is yours as a surgeon. I think the philosophies are completely different. I don't think you can mix and match. Although when you're using a deep dish concept, you can retain the PCL or you can chop the PCL. Both ways it tends to work. So again, with the kind of knees that we see, I think are you going to have universal application or not is a question. So new materials are appearing in the TKR here. The fascination for new is obviously nothing new, but that's a human tendency that anything new that comes on the block has to be good. But there are, I think, several designs on which we have burned our fingers. If you talk about femoral component, cobalt chrome has been time tested. The question is there any need to change? And this 20% dissatisfied patient is a figure that is thrown at us, and cobalt chrome essentially has stood the test of time. The new materials, especially with polyethylene, the cross-linking and addition of antioxidants has made big difference to the wear characteristics. On the femoral side, there is oxinium and gold knee, so-called gold knee, which is actually a titanium nitride covering, and obviously PEAK is still in the research stages. So polywear is a fact of life. The antioxidants that are introduced, especially I think Depu has the Covernox that is introduced, that obviously has much better wear characteristics, and some other companies have introduced vitamin E poly as well. So these are all developments that have worked towards increasing the longevity of the prosthesis. Whether you can improve the metal surface or not. For example, oxinium has come around. It is essentially heating zirconium in air, and it changes the ceramicized metal is what it is called. So it is supposed to improve the wear characteristics, but not to that great an extent. There are studies haven't proved that this to be true as of now. Even gold knee, for example, the concept is fine, but again hasn't shown any promising results over what other implants that are available today. So we still do not know whether it is actually any better or not. This is a battle of perception that we are talking about. All poly is obviously cheaper, hence inferior. So that is one perception. So latest modest with media coverage must be better. So that again is a battle of perception. Gold knee appeals to the Indian psyche. So that again is battle of perception. And a so-called 30-year knee, I think is just a marketing gimmick. So don't believe anything that you see. So implant selection verdict, I think use what works best in your hands and what you're used to. Deliver consistent results to each and every patient of yours. You can't be bored with success. Don't flirt with failure. Thank you.